Hi, my name's Dawn. A whole bunch of people call me Spice Dawn. And today, instead of doing the video in the house, this is an outdoor video. And this is going to show you how to Scentsyfy your outdoor living space. Normally, I would be wearing my new polarized Scentsy family store sunglasses, because these are really, really nice. But then I couldn't read my notes in the shade. So it was either I wore my purple sunglasses or I couldn't read. So anyway, what we're going to start with today is how to incorporate Scentsy into your outdoor living space. Well, for one thing, like, we're lucky enough to have a covered patio. Honey, let them look up just to see how there's like a little roof like on it. Some of you may have sun porches or just, you know, front porches or whatnot. So it's covered. But I have a Scentsy warmer right here. Now this is kind of neat. And what I like about this is that I can change out the wraps to match my mood. I have my Scentsyfied purple and green wax that I like to melt out here. Today I'm melting simply basil because our basil plants are only this big. A lot of times I like to warm the new Zen garden, and lemon verbena is also a favorite, and of course blueberry cheesecake. So those are some of my Scentsyfied scents. Now you'll notice back here that I have this little pot. Okay, now I have to show you what's in here because it's pretty neat. Okay, now I am one of those girls that uses paper towels left over from lunch to absorb my wax. So I have my paper towels from lunch. I have like this little measly roll that has like, okay, one paper towel left on it because I knew I was going to be needing it. I keep all my little used up wax balls from changing out my wax because we use them in the fire pit. We tuck them under the logs so that our fires start very nicely. You would never use something like this indoors, of course, only outdoors. Now also, just in case we're out here and we need some extra light to check out like a really cool toad or something, I have my purple and green light sticks. Now these are pretty neat because they do a bunch of different things. They light up, they are a flashlight, they're even a whistle in case you get in trouble. So that's kind of cool. Another thing I have in here is my coconut lemongrass Scentsy Layers body lotion. Because let me tell you, people seem to think that like the coconut lemongrassy smell or the lemongrass does kind of repel mosquitoes. Now that's your own thoughts. I think it does. A lot of people think thinks that it does. So I keep some of this out here because it smells a lot better than the traditional bug spray. Now, say you don't have a covered patio. You could use a scent pack in your outdoor area, and even if it got wet, I'm sure it would still be fine. So that is what I keep in my little tote. Now, if you have a radio in your outdoor living space, it's a good idea to cover it with a little towel or something so that dust doesn't get down into all the little buttons. And of course, it's always a good idea to have your Scentsyfied wine coolers if you do like to partake of a wine cooler from time to time. I have blackberry breezer and of course lime melonade in my Scentsy colors. I have my big old fat straw in case I need that for a beverage, so that's kind of fun. You see, I'm getting ready for an open house this weekend. I love to have people over, so I have all of these little giveaways, samples, wax samples, tied up, ready to give away. And yes, I'm sure you're going to notice that the tray is not purple or green. It's coming, okay? Colin doesn't know it yet, but there's a new tray coming, okay? Now, what we're going to go over here and show you next is that I even have these little green. If I could have gotten purple ones, I would have. I've actually had these for years, but I clip these little clothes clips because sometimes there's something that you wash that you want to air dry, like your swimsuit top or whatnot. So I just take these and I don't have a clothesline anymore, so I just clip it to the back of one of the chairs for a few minutes. So there's an outdoor tip that will help you. Now over here, I want to show you my gardening shoes. These are Crocs. Okay, no, I don't really garden in these. But we did have our wedding back here, right, honey?
It was beautiful.
And I didn't want to have regular heels that would go down into the dirt and make me trip and kill me. So I bought Croc high heels. What I do really wear, though, are Crocs, the regular ugly kind. But I love them. You could rinse them off. If you want to hang up your shoes, check this out. These are little plant supports. I bought these at the local garden center for 79 cents. Now, I did have to bend it a little bit up, but look, you can keep your shoes right by the door, and then you hang them upside down so rain doesn't get in them. It's kind of cool. So that's something I wanted to point out to you. I wish they were purple or green, and yes, it's coming. Okay, now, over here, I want to point out that my creeping thyme, look how pretty the purple creeping thyme is. That's kind of Scentsyfied. I have loved gardening for many, many years. So I have another garden tip for you. This is just a hanging basket, and it's just sitting in a pot that had some old dirt in it. I didn't dump the dirt. But look how pretty that looks. You could never have something that filled out this early in the season. But you don't have to go to a lot of fuss to Scentsyfy your outdoor space. I just cut the plastic hanger thing off of there, and I set it, and when I know it needs watered is when it's light. So if it's light, I go ahead and water it. Now, I am going to bring you over here to show you the most Scentsyfied flowers that there are. Look, they're real Dr. Seuss looking. These are called giant allium, okay? And they're pretty cool. The bulbs are kind of expensive, but they do multiply over time. So even if you do get a bulb, these are the Globe Master variety. So even if you do get one of those in a few years, you'll have a whole bunch more. So that's kind of cool and Scentsyfied. All right, now, come on over here, because I'm going to show you something else that I think is pretty cool. This just came today. I had to wait to do the video because I have this new purple bird feeder, and it just had to be in this video. Now, one thing about those of you who love to feed the birds, bird seed can be very, very messy. So if you're going to feed the birds, see, we have a bird feeding station that is out there, so the mess is away from the patio and the eating area. But this is too cute, and I had to have it up here. So I am feeding them peanut pieces. You buy these at the bird food store, and you just stick it in there, and then if they drop them on the ground, they don't sprout or anything, and there's no shell. So that's a gardening tip for Scentsyfying your outdoor space. Now, something else I want to point out. I love pots, okay? Container gardening is fabulous. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to tell you a couple of things that I think is kind of important if you're looking into beautifying and Scentsyfying your outdoor space. Now, see my cute little garden gloves? I would always lay them down here, and then they would kind of blow, or an ant would crawl in them, and they would get hot from the pavers. So again, I have these things that I bent, and if my gloves are just a little bit damp, then I can stick them on there and I can let them dry. Here's another garden tip for those of you who are container planters. Check this out. I put this planter together and it had these long hangy things. Well, here's something that you don't know. When the wind blows, all the hangy things go to the wrong side of the planter. So I made these things a few years ago. They're just out of a whole bunch of old ratty coat hangers that I went to the dry cleaner. I don't really get anything dry cleaned, but they gave me their coat hangers anyway. And I bent them, and they're like little pins that you can just push down. You don't want to push it down too tight, but then that keeps that area where you want it rather than it just like blowing to the back. So there's a gardening tip. Now I want to point something out. A lot of my pots are really, really big. Now you can burn through a ton of good potting soil if you don't use your noodle, okay? So speaking of noodles, a lot of these giant pots, you want to have drainage at the bottom of your pots. So I go to Joann Fabrics and I buy the nylon net or the tulle. Tulle is the stuff that wedding dresses and stuff have on them, but it is super cheap, especially in black. So I buy the tulle and then I put packing peanuts in here. It makes the perfect drainage. It fills up a lot of the space on your bigger pots so that you're not using as much potting soil. The best thing about it is drainage. It's great drainage. Some people put gravel in the bottom of their pots, but I have to move these around, and I've only known Colin for now 6 years.
Yep.
So I was moving these things around by myself, and that gravel was getting old, okay? As I was getting old and weak, the gravel was too heavy. So I decided to invent in my head these little tea bag things with packing peanuts. Now, when you're using packing peanuts, you have to be aware. There's a new biodegradable kind of packing peanut. Now, pay close attention because you don't want to fill the bottom of your pot with these because they disintegrate in water. I suppose, in case they end up in landfills, that it's more environmental. But it's like a Cheeto or a cheese puff without the cheese. It's like starch-based. So when you put it in water, it kind of like disintegrates and turns into a foamy little nothing. So make sure when you're getting packing peanuts for the bottom of your pots, you don't make that mistake and use the wrong kind of packing peanuts without realizing it. Now, come on over here. I got to show you something else that's kind of cool. These are my Scentsy purple and green window boxes. Of course, I had to add a splash of bright to them as well. When I water any container plantings, I have these tubs. You could even use a 5-gallon bucket, but I thought the tubs were a little cuter and, of course, Scentsy. So, now, I know that the water is air temperature, which is like way warmer than when it comes out of the ground from the hose. Plus, it's right here. So I can just water my plants, and I always keep these full. And I bought these stupid little things at the paint department in a home improvement store. But what I liked about it is it has a handle. So I can just hook that in there so it's not floating in the water and getting like scummy and gross, but yet it's not going to blow away either because we have a lot of wind here. So that's what I do with my cute little pots. Okay, now follow me. Over here is one of my prize outdoor living space Scentsy devices. This is a garden cart that you can wheel all kinds of things around in. And of course I had to get the green and get the purple tub. It has a swivel seat. You can put all your little Scentsy items down here on the bottom. But this is nice because you can wheel this around deadhead, pick your stuff, put it in there. It works out real well. Now, come on back over. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, here's something you never want to do, okay? I've had this hot tub, longer than I lived at this house. We moved it from where I used to live, okay? So I've had this hot tub a long time. This is a really old cover, but it was still good. And we're not crazy people. We're not going to replace something prematurely. But when I first met Colin, I do a lot of parties here out on the patio, and he watched a young lady come and she set a pizza right down here in the corner. Okay, so he's in the kitchen and he sees it and he knocks on the window and waves me in. And he says, well, what he really said was not what I'm going to tell you, but he said, honey, why don't you have that nice young lady move that smelly pizza box off of the vinyl hot tub cover and set it on the glass table. Of course, you know, glass doesn't absorb odors. So I immediately came out and I moved it. Well, wouldn't you know, the next morning we looked out here and there was all this blue stuff on the corner. I was like, what the heck? and I came out, and a raccoon had come out that same night because this vinyl smelled like pizza box, and he chewed all these holes in the top of this cover. Okay, so that was horrible because the water would get in and it would degrade quickly. So we patched it with little hearts. I mean, sometimes you have to have patches, but it doesn't mean that they can't be cute. And I'm sorry that they're not stars, but the bite marks were not really conducive to doing stars. And I also like hearts too. So if you have any questions on how to Scentsyfy your outdoor space, or if I missed something totally cool that I haven't thought of yet and you know something, message me, comment, you know how to get a hold of me. It's like on the video. So I hope that you enjoy your summer. I know some people tend to think that Scentsy sales with warmers and scent packs and things like that aren't as robust in the summer because people are outdoors more. But look, I've just shown you. You can totally Scentsyfy your outdoor space. Many of my customers would never have thought of putting a warmer on their screened-in patio or their porch. You know how cute a warmer looks on your porch with your little swing? So, ladies, just think out of the box and Scentsyfy you and your customers' outdoor space. Bye!